St. Paul Public Schools Superintendent Meria Carstarphen. Thank you for taking time from your workday or your family to learn about how we in St. Paul Public Schools are meeting the 5-year goals we set for ourselves in the Strategic Plan for Continued Excellence in the winter of 2007. If there is one thing that I have learned since becoming the superintendent here a year and a half ago, it is this. If any school district anywhere in this state or country is going to overcome the challenges in urban public education today, it will be this one. We have the talent, the team, and tenacity. With the support of our families, partners, and community, we can also create the collective will to make it happen for all children. History has shown that times of great challenge and transition bring great solutions and accomplishments. We have been reminded of such significant challenges in the recent anniversaries of transformational turning points, specifically the launch of Sputnik and the integration of Little Rock Central High School 50 years ago, both within a few weeks of each other, and both which set a new course for science and education in the United States for decades to come. In addition to these noteworthy anniversaries, we in St. Paul Public Schools have just finished celebrating 150 years of excellence. Perhaps it is the reminder of these historical turning points, or perhaps it is my upbringing in Selma, Alabama, where the legacies of John F. Kennedy and Martin Luther King Jr. live on so strongly that prompts me to recall the words of one of the most revered leaders for social justice in our country's history. On January 9, 1961, 11 days before his inauguration as the 35th President of the United States, John F. Kennedy addressed the Massachusetts legislature as senator for the last time. At that time, he reflected on how the future would judge his service and that of his colleagues, noting that such judgment would be measured by the answers to 4 questions. First, were we truly men of courage? Second, were we truly men of judgment with the perceptive judgment of the future as well as the past? Third, were we truly men of integrity who never ran out on their principles in which they believed or the people who believed in them? Finally, were we truly men of dedication, devoted solely to serving the public good? Those questions, I believe, can also be a guide as to how we judge this past year and how we will judge the service of this school district into the future. Year 1. Were we truly a district of courage? Before I talk about how our district and schools have fared for the short term, I want to take a moment to reflect on the tremendous internal transition this school system has experienced in the last 3 years and put that transition and the significant challenges we face in urban public education today into perspective. I am the 4th superintendent in this district since 2005, following in the steps of 2 interim superintendents and my predecessor, who laid the foundation for school reform that helped put us on the path to slow, steady progress. In spite of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt that leadership transitions usually bring, St. Paul Public Schools not only remained strong, but built enough community support in a time of transition to pass a 6-year referendum in a year when most school district referenda in the state failed, which to me illustrates courage and commitment. That is not to say that St. Paul Public Schools and I, as the superintendent, have not experienced difficult moments during this transition into the new leadership with new expectations and a new strategic plan. But it speaks to the possibility of what people in this school district and this community can accomplish, of the solutions we can bring in times of great transition and times of great challenge. Slightly more than 35 years ago, we benefited from the results of another great turning point in Minnesota's history, known as the Minnesota Miracle of 1971, which resulted in the restructuring of the state's fiscal policy to equalize disparities between property tax-rich and property tax poor districts, Sputnik, integration, and the statewide fiscal restructuring, three great challenges that changed the course of state and national history. Each brought discomfort, each prompted debate, and each required optimism and courage. As Martin Luther King Jr. noted, the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. I believe that we are currently in a time of great challenge and controversy in urban public education, and St. Paul Public Schools specifically. Our challenges include raising the bar on learning for all of our students, no matter where they come from, who their families are, or how well or ill prepared they are for school. Closing the persistent achievement gaps that exist among poor students, middle and upper class income students, and between students of color and white students. Changing our educational delivery model to reflect the needs of our current and future communities and workforce. And making education rigorous, competitive, relevant, and respectful to all of our students and families. Again, we have the talent and the team and the partners to overcome our challenges. With the support of our families and community, we can also create the collective will and the courage to do so. Year 1. Were we a district of judgment? How did we meet the measured outcomes we set in our strategic plan? Our data show us that we as a district are experiencing pockets of success, but that we have much to do to meet all of our targets and benchmarks in the upcoming years. For our state reading and math scores and for our college preparation tests last school year, most of our students of color did not meet our targets. While I am disappointed, I remain optimistic because we are in the process of making significant changes this school year and made changes last school year to improve outcomes for students who traditionally have not performed to standards. Our white students continue to do well, meeting almost all of the targets set. And we're seeing progress and signs of hope in the following areas. In the participation of Asian students taking the advanced placement test, in the completion of honors courses for our Asian, Black, low-income, and English language learner students, in the growth rate on the state reading and writing test for our Asian and white students, and in the decrease or stability of suspensions for Asian, Latino, white, and English language learner students. We have the talent, the team, and the partners to accomplish our goals. With the support of our families and community, we can also create the collective will and the courage to do so. Year 1. Were we a district of integrity? What we have right now is a start. We have begun to change our workflow, to change expectations, and to change our service delivery. Already we have reorganized the administrative structure to better support schools and programs, increased community connections, changed the school calendar to add instructional time, completed and begun implementation of a comprehensive professional development plan, completed a resource allocation study, a human resource audit, and started a master operations plan, all while making real-time adjustments to the day-to-day work in these areas to address the deficiencies we are uncovering and to build on our strengths. Now we must follow through on our promises and deliver to our clients, our families, communities, partners, and our staff. This is what they have asked for. Revitalized school programming that meets students' needs and market demands. More rigorous coursework that expects more from our students, not less. A shared accountability model, which is being launched very shortly. and future-focused education so that our students are prepared not only to graduate, but to graduate to something great. We have the talent, the team, and the partners to accomplish our goals. With the support of our families and community, we can also create the collective will and the courage to do so. Year 1. Were we a district of dedication? Accountability without trust will only get compliance, and compliance will not move an agenda forward. What we hope to accomplish may seem impossible and even unimaginable to some. When I hear that we face an impossible challenge, that there may be too many obstacles inside and outside of the school system, or that our expectations are even too high, I reflect on the words of former South African President Nelson Mandela, who said simply, "It always seems impossible until it's done." While judgments have already been made about us, informed or uninformed, I ask for you who have a stake in the future of our St. Paul students to give us your continued support and to give us time to make the seemingly impossible possible, to show that we can face this time of great challenge with great accomplishment. Today I stand before you, having had the courage, integrity, judgment, and dedication as your superintendent, and with the entire school system to deliver on our mission, a premier education for all. We will always stand before you to be held accountable for our results, but our preference is to stand with you, sharing joint accountability for the future of our learners. Therefore, I ask you, Year 2, will you truly be a community of courage? Will you truly be a community of judgment? Will you truly be a community of integrity? And will you truly be a community of dedication by joining us on our journey and by judging us not only with fairness, but with optimism for the future of all St. Paul's learners? 150 years from now, will we truly be a school community of excellence? I say we will. We have the talent, the team, and the partners to accomplish our goals. With the support of our families and community, we can also create the collective will and the courage to do so. Thank you.